Hi, I'm Miss Hall, and this is Lesson 70, Finding Side Lengths and Angle Measures. We'll begin by reviewing how to find an unknown side length. We have a right triangle, and we're looking for the value of x, a missing side. It helps me to label the triangle sides. So our reference angle is 30. The hypotenuse is 8. Opposite is not labeled, and the adjacent is x. So once I have it labeled, I write out my SOHCAHTOA. Some old horse came hopping through our alley. AH is cosine. So I can write my equation as the cosine of 30 degrees equals adjacent, which is x, over hypotenuse, which is 8. I like to set this up as a proportion and then cross multiply. So I have 8 times the cosine of 30 equals x. Now you might remember from your special right triangles that the cosine of 30 is radical 3 over 2. And if you don't remember it, it's okay, because we're going to approximate the answer here. We're going to put this in our calculator. Why don't I simplify my equation first? So this is really 4 radical 3 is x. And then we can put 4 radical 3 in our calculator, or we could put 8 times cosine of 30. If you don't remember the exact value of the cosine of 30, that's okay. You could just put 8 times cosine of 30 in your calculator, making sure your calculator is in degree mode. And you will get that x is approximately 6.93. Okay, so let me just label the steps. So we first labeled the triangle, which helped us identify that we'd be using cosine. Second, we set up the equation. Third, we cross-multiplied. Now, I'm going to count these as bonus steps. This is going to be 3a and 3b are bonus steps. And no matter what, your fourth step will be the approximate value of x, which is 6.93. Example 4, using a calculator to solve a right triangle. It says solve triangle ABC. That means find any missing angles and any missing sides. We'll begin with the angles. We're given that angle A is 28 degrees, angle C is 90 degrees, and we're trying to find angle B. So we know that all angles, the interior angles of a triangle, have to add to 180. So we could write that angle A plus angle B plus angle C has to equal 180. We know angle A is 28. We do not know angle B. Angle C is 90 degrees, equals 180. We could solve for angle B, and we'll get 62 degrees. Okay, so now we've identified all angles. Now we can look for the missing sides. We've got 2 missing sides. I'm going to use a reference angle of 28. We could have used 62 because we now know it. I prefer to stick with what we're given, which is 28. 28, the opposite side is lowercase a. The adjacent side is b. And the hypotenuse is c. Let me write SOHCAHTOA. Some old horse came hopping through our alley. Let me begin by finding the hypotenuse. I have A and I want to find H. So the trig ratio that compares A to H is cosine. So I can write the cosine of 28 degrees is equal to the adjacent, which is 15, over the hypotenuse that we don't know. We use lowercase c. I like to set these up as a proportion and then cross multiply. So c times the cosine of 28 degrees equals 15. There isn't an exact value for the cosine of 28 degrees, so we'll continue solving. C To get c by itself, we'll divide both sides by the cosine of 28. So c is 15 over cosine of 28 degrees. Put that in your calculator. Make sure your calculator is in degree mode, and you'll get that c is approximately 16.99. And finally, we've got one more side, which is a. So we have, that is the opposite side of 28. I'm going to compare it to a, one of the given values. So O and A is TOA, is that the tangent of 28 degrees equals the opposite, which is A, over the adjacent, which is 15. So 15 times tangent of 28 degrees equals A. Put this in your calculator and we'll get that A is approximately 7.98. We now have all three sides and all three angles. Example 6, using an angle of elevation. A parasailer is attached to a boat with a rope 72 feet long. The angle of elevation from the boat to the parasailer is 28 degrees. Estimate the parasailer's height above the boat. Helps me to draw a diagram. So we have a boat, and a parasailer is attached to a boat with a rope 72 feet long. So here's my 72-foot rope, and my parasailer has some kind of parachute. The angle of elevation from the boat to the parasailer, okay, so that is this angle, is 28 degrees. Estimate the parasailer's height above the boat. So we're looking for the height. We've got a right triangle. Now we know an angle and a side, so we can use SOHCAHTOA to find the approximate height. So my reference angle is 28. Can I identify my two sides? I am looking for the side opposite 28-degree angle, and I'm given the hypotenuse. SOHCAHTOA, some old horse. I can stop there. This is sine. The sine of 28 degrees equals the opposite, h, over the hypotenuse 72. I set it up as a proportion, and I have 72 times the sine of 28 equals h. Put that in a calculator, and the height is approximately 33.8